You are now watching the Amazin Mets PreGame Show with your hosts, Rob and CP.
Let's go Mets! Let's go Mets! Let's go Mets! Let's go Mets!
What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the Amazin Mets PreGame Show right here on the channel. As you can see, I am going solo today on the pregame, but we got another fun game to talk about with our New York Mets. Mets beat the Houston Nationals 7-2, and it was probably a big old party scene at Citifield as it was fireworks night. The Mets win. Jose Iglesias singing his single, "Oh My God," on the field. Teammates, everybody is just loving his team right now. The team looks like they enjoy each other, the love, the chemistry, all that stuff. Jeff McNeil actually came up big in the ball game with a 3-run homer that was used down the right field line. Absolutely fun to enjoy Mets winning and to see how much they enjoy each other on the field, off the field. They clearly came together during this month stretch when they really needed to find themselves, because it could have been a disaster for this team for the rest of the season. But they found a way to fight back to 500. They win yesterday, get a game over 500, and they have a chance for the next 2 days to win the series and get a couple of more games over 500. But man, oh man, how about this team, guys? I mean, if you're a Mets fan right now, how can you not be excited? Last time was Blackout Friday with the black jerseys. Today is City Connect Day. They will be wearing their City Connect uniforms, the gray, purple, and black. And it's just a vibe right now. It's a lot of fun. Obviously, the song that I played, the instrumental that I played, was the song from Jose Iglesias, "Oh My God," that has been playing throughout Citifield when the Mets hit a home run. And, of course, they got the "Oh My God" sign, OMG sign, when they hit a home run as well. So it's a great time to enjoy being a Mets fan because we don't get a lot of these opportunities, guys. And it's a lot of fun. And why the hell not, right? We deserve it. We've been through hell. We've been through the gauntlet with this team. And it's about time we enjoy the Mets winning baseball. And for the first time in a very long time, the Mets aren't going through a June swoon. They're going through a June boom. The hottest team in baseball, best record in baseball over this month, and they're continuing to play well. Even when, again, we keep on talking about this. Me and CP talked about it yesterday. Even when the pitching doesn't really do its job. Like, could we be honest about that, guys? Jose Quintana didn't go 5 innings. Wasn't great. He had a decent amount of strikeouts, but wasn't great. Right? It was looking a little bit like, oh man, this Houston Nationals team is gonna remain hot, and the Mets are gonna have problems winning during this series. And what did the offense do? They picked up their pitching. The bullpen, they came in for what, 5+ innings, and they did their job, right? And we keep on talking about they find ways to win, regardless of what they go through during a game. If the pitching ain't showing up, the offense picks up. If the offense isn't really doing anything yet, the pitching holds up. They're finding ways to win, and that's great signs from this team because they're finding ways to win. Listen, is this sustainable when it comes to the pitching? Probably not. But while it's sustainable at this moment, you pad the W's in that win column. That's what you got to do. That's the most important thing right now because you got 7 more games until Edwin Diaz comes back. That will help your bullpen. Yes, the Mets got a ton of injuries with Drew Smith, Sean Reed Foley, rarely out for the season. It's a lot of missing pieces. But you know what? It's a next man mentality, right? I don't want to feel bad for our New York Mets, regardless of the circumstances, right? Right? We talk about it. I hear teams' excuses all the time that, oh, there's injuries. Well, too bad. Next man up. There's always somebody else that can replace you. It's just a matter of, are they going to do the job? And that's what we're going to have to wait. We have to continue to see, right? It's not ideal with the bullpen situation with the New York Mets. With all the injuries, with the suspension of Edwin Diaz, you gotta figure it out. And it's just that simple. It is just that simple. And it's important to understand that they're winning despite of all those challenges with their bullpen, with the lack of depth the length of the starting pitching, right? The offense has been carrying this team for the most part throughout the entire hot stretch, throughout the entire month. And you know what? They should be doing that because when we started the season, when we did our season preview, we talked about the one thing we shouldn't be concerned about is the offense. The offense does their job. The Mets are going to be okay. Because you don't need great starting pitching to get through a season. You don't need a great bullpen to get to a season, through a season. What you got to do is hope they hold up until you get some reinforcements either from the minor league system or at the trade deadline. That's where you have to be. You have to get to that point, right? Because after the trade deadline, you got what you got from trades, from your farm system. It depended on what they do. A couple of guys get healthy. A couple of guys don't get suspended again. That would be nice, right? So that's what you have to do. But right now, we're winning despite those challenges. And we don't know if it's going to be sustainable. Maybe it is. Maybe it's just lightning in a bottle and everything just seems to be coming up roses. That's the way we have to look at it, guys. That's the way we have to look at it. And that's the way I look at it. Because if you're continuing to worry about the bullpen, didn't the bullpen do their job yesterday? They hold them to 2 runs, right? When Quintana gave up the leadoff home run, everybody was like, uh-oh, here we go. But the bullpen did their job yesterday, right? So the offense did their job and the bullpen did their job. The bullpen did not let them get back into this ballgame, right? After the Alonso go-ahead home run and the McNeil 3-run home run, it was ballgame. So, we keep on talking about, oh, this ain't sustainable. That's not sustainable. Well, why not? Why can't it be? Right? Because last time I checked, the pitching for the most part carried this team when the offense was absolutely garbage for the first 2 months of the season. So if the pitcher can hold up and carry this team for 2 months, why can't the offense carry a team for a month and a half, 2 months? While the pitching's getting back into order and we get closer to the deadline where we can make moves to help this bullpen or help this starting rotation, either through trades or if they're going to start bringing up guys from the farm. We'll see how that plays out. But right now, it doesn't matter what you think is the problem with this team, the sustainability of the bullpen or the starting pitching or the winning. They're doing it. And regardless of how you do it, I think we focus too much on how we're winning rather than did we win. And I've said that a couple of years ago. In 2022, it was a big talking point where, well, they're winning with a lot of smoke and mirrors. That was the talk, right? They weren't winning like other teams. They were winning with a lot of hitting of the baseballs when it comes to not hitting home runs, but finding ways to, get a couple of hits in a row, getting that sac fly, getting that bunt, moving that runner over, situational hitting. They were doing that, right? But they weren't hitting those home runs. And it was concerning to a lot of people because people were like, they're winning with a lot of, ways that other teams that are good are doing exact opposite. And it doesn't really matter. I think if you win, who cares how you won, right? It doesn't really matter. Are you going to go back on August 31st, right? When you get to August 31st, are you going to go back to June 28th and say, well, the Mets won because, well, their offense scored a lot of runs? Are you going to really care that Jose Quintana went 4 1/3? No, you're not. Because it doesn't matter. That win is in the bag. They can't take that away from you, right? And they're doing it. Well, Daniel, it has been a talking point, right? Because a lot of people don't realize that this offense, even when they're not at their highest point like they are right now, score five runs per ball game, which is more than enough to win ball games in Major League Baseball nowadays, right? Right now, they're scoring over 7. That's an insane number right now. And let's be honest, that's the big reason why they're winning a lot of games during this stretch. But that's probably less sustainable, the 7 runs per game, than, having them go back to a little bit of a normalcy in runs per game. They can score 5 runs per game and still win ball games, right? The Mets haven't been giving up a ton of runs. Their run differential is over, what is it? It's almost up to plus 60 right now over this stretch. So they're outstanding right now. So we'll see. But it is, look, winning is all that matters, regardless of how it happens. I think we focus too much on that. All right, guys. So we got Tyler Megill on the mound today. I know a lot of people believe, including myself and CP, that Tyler Megill is probably pitching for his job, right? We talked about this 3 starts ago with Jose Quintana, where if he doesn't start picking it up, he might be out of this rotation and maybe in the bullpen. Somebody else might come up. Well, we're talking about Tyler Megill as well, because he doesn't pitch well today, regardless of the result of the ball game. Tyler Megill might be out of this rotation and maybe either in the bullpen or sent back down, and you're probably going to see Christian Scott or Jose Buto. And I know a lot of people says, oh, great, why not that just happen? Well, you don't want Tyler Megill to pitch bad just because you want Christian Scott or Jose Buto in this rotation. Because if he pitches bad and the Mets don't come back and try to win a ball game, then what is the whole point of this? Like, you're wishing that Tyler Megill is out of this rotation, but the way he gets out of the rotation is pitching bad, and that could mean we lose a ball game. So I want Tyler Megill to pitch well. I don't care who's not on this team right now. Right now, all I care about is the New York Mets putting more W's in that win column. That's all I care about. Like, we're so focused on, let's replace Megill. Well, if you're replacing Megill after today's start, that means he probably didn't pitch well. That's what you're hoping for? That's a silly way to think of it as a fan, right? Win the ball game, right? I want Tyler Megill to throw 5-6 innings of 2-run baseball. Is that possible? Who knows? But that's what I'm hoping for. Too many people are hoping that he gets out of this rotation. Well, if he's bad, he will get out of this rotation. The same way Adrian Hauser was bumped from this rotation. It will happen eventually. But why let him pitch bad or want him to pitch bad? Because if he was pitching good, I wouldn't hear Christian Scott or Jose Buto or sending Megill down to the minors or the bullpen. So it is what it is when it comes to Tyler Megill. Let me check who's in the chat today, guys. So I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me today, as I am on the solo pregame today for about an hour or so. But we're going with obviously the City Connect colors today on the background. Let's see. We got Duran, we got Brad, we got Yeet, we got, let's see, here we go. I know we have a lot more. I just saw him. Junior, Robert, Carlos, Kilroy. I know Kilroy is I believe he's a Phillies fan, if I'm not mistaken. Daniel. Who else we got? I saw a couple other guys. Elgood. We got 18 Mets. We got Manuel. The Mets look very stunnish. I agree, Manuel. I agree. Who else we got? All right. Hold on. Daniel. There you go. I knew I saw. Easy. How you doing, guys? I'm going to keep going. Drifter. We also got Sanders, and we got Skip Peru. Yeah, well, Skip Peru, I agree with you 100%. Megill has the stuff. Like, this guy throws 96 plus. Like, he can get it up there. So he has the stuff. He gets in trouble because he stops throwing strikes, right? He starts to walk batters, and then when he starts to walk batters, he falls apart. And he can't find that control back. If he's on, you could tell right away because he's pounding the strike zone, hitting the corners with his fastball. Because Megill relies on that fastball. Yeah, he has breaking stuff, off-speed stuff, but his fastball and pinpointing on the corners and throwing that fastball for strikes and throwing up in the zone with that fastball, letter high, is where he's really doing damage. But if he doesn't have that fastball, the breaking stuff isn't on that next level where he can go one of his breaking balls or his off-speed pitches to help him out and get him back rolling again. He relies on that fastball heavily to set up those off-speed pitches and then breaking pitches. So you'll know early on with Tyler Megill, if his fastball is up in that zone, riding letter high, and, he's getting a couple of swing and misses, Megill could have a good day. So when it comes to Tyler Megill, it's very early in the game. You'll see if that fastball is working. If he can't hit the strike zone with that fastball, it might be a rough day for Tyler Megill. Again, doesn't mean the Mets ain't going to win because they've been finding ways to win regardless of what the starter has been doing, what the bullpen has been doing. It's been the offense just beating up on good pitching. Once again, they beat up on Blanco yesterday. And he's pitched extremely well for the Houston Astros. I don't think he gave up more than 5 hits in a start this year. And the Mets made sure that happened. So they're still hitting good pitching. It doesn't matter who they're facing on the mound. what team they're facing, they're doing what they need to do, and that is winning by any means necessary. And I love it. And it's amazing. Last month, we were talking about how this team has no chemistry, no leader, right? No fight in them. And it's the exact 180 and the exact opposite right now. The chemistry is there. This team looking like they love each other. They find ways to win. They pick each other up when somebody doesn't play well. It's amazing. It really is amazing. Even Jeff McNeil is joining the party offensively. I know he's not playing today, and Iglesias is playing, but I'm a little disappointed. I wanted Jeff McNeil back in there after he hit that 3-1 homer. I thought he deserved to get that, but he'll probably be in tomorrow. But Jose Iglesias, I don't know. I guess the feeling around him. And listen, we shouldn't question Carlos Mendoza, right? Mendoza has been absolutely, everything he's, changed and fixed and with the lineup and who he put in, it works, right? Tyrone Taylor, we were talking about it when he was the one that got the starts over DJ Stewart for Marte. And we're like, I don't really like the Tyrone Taylor starting. Tyrone Taylor has played extremely well. So that's another Mendoza plus in the plus column. He said, all right, I'm going to put Tyrone Taylor in there. And it's worked. So, I mean, it's hard to kill Mendoza. He puts Iglesias in after McNeil had a couple of good games in a row. I'm not going to question Mendoza. He's pushed every right button. So it's hard to kill him. Drifter, are you really that worried about how does Mendoza don't defend his players? What he said about Diaz was a fact. Because he told you guys the truth, you don't like it. That's not defending a player. Diaz has to learn from his mistake. If Diaz didn't use sticky stuff and he used the rosin and it was sweat or that wax that they use, then he has to learn to not use too much of that. Like, that's a learning situation for Diaz. So Mendoza wasn't wrong there. He defending his players. All I see is defending players from Mendoza. You ever see him yelling at the umpires when they're not calling strikes? That's defending your players. You don't have to. I'm sick and tired. You don't have to defend your players in the public eye. I think that's silly because I know for sure every one of those players knows Mendoza has his back. So I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, what was he supposed to say? Lie because we wanted him to lie when he probably knows the situation with Diaz? He knows better than anybody what happened with Diaz, right? Easy, you know what? With Alvarez being so damn good, it's so hard to take him out, but you can't overuse him. I agree with that. Look, Torrens is fine. I mean, he'll probably start tomorrow. That's what I think. I mean, Torrens is gonna play a couple of games because you don't got no days off until the All-Star break. So they're gonna be, Torrens is gonna play, and he'll probably play tomorrow. And also, I think it depends on what the Mets do today. I think if the Mets win today, I would put Torrens in tomorrow. Yeah, you want to go for the sweep, but you also can't, run Alvarez to the ground. Remember, he's coming back from that thumb injury, and he's wearing a brace. You don't want that to get re-injured again. And he's in pain when the ball hits the glove in the wrong area off a foul tip, and he feels it. You don't want to get that re-injured because Alvarez in the lineup makes a tremendous amount of difference with this lineup as a whole. Drifter, well, I agree with that. I agree, but that's the problem with the rule. It's a judgment call by the umpire based on a gray area of the rule. That's the problem that I have. My opinion, they should let every one of the pitchers that get caught with the sticky stuff wash their hands and change their glove because you can't do it for some pitchers and not all pitchers because it's stupid. So in Mendoza's defense here with Diaz, regardless of if Diaz did use sticky stuff or the legal stuff, but too much of it, it's a learning situation for Diaz. That's what Mendoza was talking about. He wasn't throwing him under the bus saying, oh yeah, he did use sticky stuff. No, he says it's a learning situation for Diaz. He didn't bring up why. He brought up, well, it's a learning experience. Either don't use the sticky stuff or make sure you don't use too much of it while you're going into the ball game, because you're coming in as a closer. They check you before the inning starts. They're not checking you after the inning, especially in a save situation because the game is over. So at the very least, if you want to put a ton of rosin on, do it on the mound, because they can't tell you not to use it. It's on the mound. The problem is going out from the bullpen and putting how much of it on before you even start throwing your warm-ups. That's the problem. All right, let's see what else we got when it comes to the let's see. I'm just checking the comments, guys. They're rolling in fast. I appreciate that. Just give me 1 second. Mendoza don't care about nothing if you're right or wrong. Yeah, Jorge, and he shouldn't. He shouldn't care if you're right or wrong, right? I haven't seen Mendoza not protect his players, right? How do you protect Diaz in that situation, right? If you say that he didn't use anything, it's going to go back to the lead. Mendoza's going to get fined. Diaz is going to get suspended regardless of what Mendoza says. So let's see. Yeah, unfortunately, I wasn't listening to the radio. I was watching it on TV. I know a lot of people with Apple TV rather listen to the radio, but you know what? Wayne Randazzo, who was a Mets broadcaster on the radio, now is with the Angels. He's fine. He's pretty good. You know, I don't like the whole camera angles and the stupid stats that they put up there on Apple, but I deal with it because why not? It is what it is. But when it comes to today's game, right? The only difference in this lineup is Jose Iglesias in for Jeff McNeil. This is basically 1 through 7, the exact lineup since the Yankee series over the last 3 games, going on 4, except for McNeil. And I like it a lot. I don't like too many changes in a lineup. I think matchups are a big waste of time when it comes to lefty-righty. I think it's so overblown with analytics. It's such a waste of time, in my opinion. Right? I think, look, today's a day with left-handed, like McNeil is probably not in the lineup because of Framber Valdez. But if that's the case, why not just put all righties in there? I know most of them are righties anyway, but I think with Jeff McNeil being hot, I would have left him in there, but it's a tough lefty. I think Mendoza's looking at it this way. You had a couple of good nights. You had a big night last night. Let's sit you down on a positive note. Let's get Iglesias in there on a tough lefty, put you back out there tomorrow and kick some ass. That's what I think is the thought process with Mendoza. Yeah, easy. I agree with you. And you know what? I don't think a lot of people agreed with Mendoza putting in Taylor to start. And he is taking advantage of the opportunity, and good for him. And we forget that Tyrone Taylor, and I talked about this when they traded for him with Hauser. Taylor's a good player. Like, he is not a guy that you want, probably being a big time starter and one of your main guys, but as a supporting cast and a guy who's stepping in, hell yeah. He's solid. He's got some power, as we've seen. He's got opposite field power, which we also seen. That's always a good sign. He can always hit that ball over the wall, which I think sometimes at the bottom of the order you can use. That's important. So, look, he's not a great player by any means, but he's solid player for what he is. You're not looking for him to be the best player on this, the best player in this lineup. Not at all. But he's a serviceable guy. His defense could be a little bit better, but what are you going to do? The Mets don't have a lot of options right now. One night, Reds, India hits a double in the third. Nice. So, by the way, guys, the Mets win today. The Cardinals lose today. The Mets will be in a wild card spot. I know it can change day by day, but it's important to continue to realize these wild card games back matter. And David Stearns brought it up yesterday in his press conference. He said, right, we got a couple of weeks left until the trade deadline. Right? A lot of things can happen. But he's still in this mode. It's a wait-and-see approach because it depends on how many games they're back or if they're in a wild card spot. At least that's my opinion. So it could be it could be a very hybrid type of trade deadline where you might sell off a few pieces to add a few pieces, addition by subtraction. So it's going to be very interesting. But you know what? The Mets can change the minds of the front office, and I already think they have. So, and I want to give a shout out to CD for the $5 donation. I do appreciate that, buddy. Always a pleasure. 2-0 Reds. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, Carlos. Yeah, they're not that many games out of second place either. So actually, are they 4.5 out of a second place wild card? Because I think they're a lot closer than that, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check. All right, give me a second. Let's see. What have we got here? Let's see, 45. Well, it's 2.5 games, right? Because there are only 2 games in the loss column. The wins don't matter for the Padres. It's the loss column. You're only 2 games. So it's 2.5, right? 2.5 from the San Diego Padres in the second wild card. And the Mets aren't that far from the first wild card with the Braves either. They're about 4.5? Yeah. So they're 4.5 from the first wild card spot, 2.5 from the second wild card spot. So, but like I said, all you gotta do is get in. Doesn't matter. Third, second, first, really doesn't matter. You're playing one of the division winners anyway, so it's just how the ball rolls. Let's see what else is going on here. McNeil is an all-star. Iglesias is a backer. Give Jeff some time at the following break. Yeah, I mean, well, I wouldn't call McNeil an all-star. I mean, he was at one point, but he's not. He's not right now. Like he has a couple of good games. That's nice, and I agree with you. I think he should have played today, but you do have a guy in Framber Valdez who is very tough on left-handers. There's a reason why there's not a lot of left-handers in this lineup today besides Nimmo, right? So you don't want McNeil to go for 0 for 4 and look bad and start questioning himself again. So, like I said, if there's a righty on the mound, Jeff McNeil can come out in the pitch-in situations. I think we forget that, guys. We can pinch hit. He can still play in this ball game. It can be an important spot late in the game where they bring in a righty and he pinch hits for Iglesias or pinch hits for somebody else. It's possible. So it's not like he's just going to be sitting on the bench and watching. He could be in this ball game in a big spot. So we'll see if that happens. So let's talk about the Tyler Megill situation once again, because I think it's important to realize that this can be his last time in the rotation. I know a lot of people want that, but you don't want that because he pitched badly, right? He pitched badly today. That means the Mets could possibly lose. Now, if he pitches bad and the Mets win, well, it kind of solves the problem, right? The Mets get another W, get it 2 games over 500, and Tyler Megill is probably out of this rotation. So you get your wish. You get the win, and you get Tyler Megill out of this rotation. So, in my opinion, I think Megill is probably going to go. I think he's going to go 5 innings. Now, I don't think he's going to be very good. I think he's going to give up a couple of runs. I think anything you get from your starting pitcher, especially the Mets starting pitching, if you get 5 innings, 3 runs or less, I will take that every day of the week. Because why? You're halfway through the game. There's a pretty good chance that you're in the ball game if you give up 3 runs or less. And I have confidence in this Mets lineup to pour on the runs and get back into a ball game if they're losing and to extend leads, get those insurance runs. That's what I like about this team even more over this stretch, is that they're not just, Alonso hit the home run 3-2. Great. They added on. They added insurance runs. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want. I just wanted to check one more time when it comes to the sorry, guys. I just want to see something really quick with the stand-ins. Because, yeah, we're 4.5 out of a wild card spot. Of the first wild card spot, excuse me. All right. For 4.5 out of the first wild card spot, 2.5 out of the second, and obviously 1 out of the third, where the Cardinals are losing 2-0 right now. And if the Mets win today, well, we're in a wild card spot. We'll be tied. And that is a big accomplishment. Look, doesn't mean we're going to make the wild card. Doesn't mean we're going to continue to perform like that and never leave the wild card again. But it's an achievement because of where they were just not too long ago, a month and 5 days ago when they were 11 games under 500. So I take it and be like, hell yeah, let's go. 2 games over 500, right? The key is not only to get the 500, but you want to maintain and be above 500, right? Obviously, that's the goal, right? There's a pretty good chance, once again, that the third wildcard team is going to be a 500 team. Probably 2 games, maybe 3 over 500. And the second wildcard team is probably not going to be more than 4 or 5 games under 500, over 500. So it's going to be like that. It is what it is, right? It's been like that the last couple of seasons since the extra wildcard team has been implemented. And you deal with it. And for anybody who believes that why make the wild card when you're 2 games over 500 and you make the third wild card team, you're going to get wiped off the field in a playoff matchup. Have you watched the playoffs the last 2 seasons? You had a couple of games over 500 Philadelphia Phillies in 2022. You had a couple of games over 500 Arizona Diamondbacks. Both make the World Series. Now, they didn't win it, but I think we'd be okay making the World Series and taking out chances, right? Yeah, I think you're thinking way too much over this. Really are. Like, the team's winning, and you're complaining. And Mendoza hasn't really made wrong decisions when it comes to the lineup, right? I don't think Iglesias over McNeil is going to make a tremendous amount of difference right now. Like, yeah, Megill hit a home run yesterday, but if he went 0 for 3, you wouldn't want him in the lineup today. So Daniels has put up the career numbers against Valdez: 0 for 5, 1 for 5, 2 for 8, 1 for 6, 1 for 3, 1 for 3. So, yeah, it's not a lot of good numbers. So, and I'm assuming Jeff McNeil is a part of that, who's probably not good either, because I think he would be in the lineup. Again, it's going to be a tough matchup, right? There's a pretty good chance that the Mets aren't going to score a lot of runs here, but we could have talked about that yesterday too, where Blanco doesn't give up a lot of runs either, and the Mets put up a crooked number against him as well. Look, Framber Valdez, what do we got to do with him? You got to get to him early, because once he gets in a groove, he's almost impossible to hit, right? He can get a little wild. So the Mets got to be aware early in the ball game. If he's pounding the strike zone, you're going to have some problems, because he got that nasty breaking ball that is just nasty and just dropped off the table. And if he's working at fastball, it's going to be hard to lay off that nasty breaking ball. So, but I do like a lot of the righties in the lineup. Obviously, Lindor's the switch hitter. You'd be batting righty. The only lefty is Brandon Nimmo. So that's what the Mets got to do. The Mets got to get to him early, because if he gets into a groove, it's going to be a problem. So I expect a low-scoring game. I don't expect the Megill to fall apart here. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just nuts, and you guys probably think I am. But I think Tyler Megill, because when we asked the pitcher to step up, like Jose Quintana did 3 starts ago when he was on the verge of probably being out this rotation, he stepped up and pitched well. Not great. He pitched well. So I think Tyler Megill, who was on the cusp of probably being out of this rotation, either in the minors or the bullpen, I think he's going to step up. Now, I'm not saying step up like 6 innings, no runs. Now, we all take that and run. Give me 5 innings, maybe 5 plus 3 runs or less. You give me that, I'm very confident this team's going to win a ball game. So to finish up the stream, guys, we got about 90 in the stream right now. I do appreciate you guys. Before you go, make sure you hit on that like button. We will be doing a post game after the ball game, whenever that is, 6:30, 7 o'clock. You guys know the drill. Whenever the game's over, me and I do believe Chris is good for the post game, as he just texted me. He will be good for the post game. So you got myself and Chris in the post game, and hopefully talking about another Mets W and another series victory going on the road for a couple of games. It'll be 2 games over 500. Let's hope for that. But we do have a similar lineup over the last couple of days. The only difference is Jeff McNeil's not in the lineup and Jose Iglesias is. I'm assuming it's because the lefty in Valdez is very tough against lefties. Lefties, I believe, are hitting under 200. So I think putting Jose Iglesias in there, maybe get a little bit more of a spark at the bottom of the order. Maybe that's the case. Again, I think we're overlooking who's in the number 8 spot, because if you got to worry about your number 8 hitter winning you a ball game, then you got some problems at the top of your order. But you don't have right now. So, yeah, I know you don't trust Megill easy, but A lot of us didn't trust a lot of pitchers. And yeah, it might not be a great start, but give me a quality start. Give me a serviceable start. Easy. It's been very hard to do that because I have to change it up. StreamYard and putting up the MLB app and putting up the game day doesn't stick and it freezes. I'm probably going to do a couple over the next week during the 4th of July week. So make sure we're going to be doing that. I know a lot of people have been asking me Easy. I do apologize for that. But I will be doing it more. I promise you that. I just have to find a great way to bring you the live game action, the sound of the game, along with instant reactions as well, so we can all follow along. Maybe I don't put the score up, maybe game day up, and I'll just give you the scores and the outs and what's going on throughout the ball game. But we'll figure that out for sure. I know, Easy, you and a couple of hundred have been asking me why I haven't done it, and it's been an ongoing issue, but I'm going to fix it. I promise you that. So, guys, with that said, another Amazing Mets pregame show in the books. Me and Chris will be on the post game after the ball game. Tyler Megill, Framber Valdez on the mound. Mets where the city connects, right? Who cares about the record with those jerseys, with the black jerseys? Doesn't matter. This team is hot right now. They find ways to win, and they capitalize on mistakes just like they did yesterday. What happened after the Bregman homer error? Mets did some more damage, right? So let's see if they can get some runs on Valdez, capitalize on mistakes, and get the Valdez early in the counts and in the ball game early on, because you don't want them to get into the groove. So, guys, I'll see you later tonight on the post game around 6:30, 7 o'clock after the Mets game. And let's hope we're talking about another W and being 2 games over 500 and possibly in a wild card spot. Not more than a month ago, we were 11 games under 500. It's an amazing turnaround. Let's keep it going. Grimace era, OMG era, team chemistry, everything is rolling right now. Let's keep the good vibes going, guys. I'll see you later today on the post game. Let's go, Mets. I'll see you later on the post game. Have a great game, guys. Let's go, Mets. Enjoy the game. See you later tonight.